Hey everyone, once again, welcome back to another video. I know it's been quite a while since I actually posted any videos about anything really. I actually kind of posted one earlier, but it really sucked. So decided to redo it again. I think the volume and stuff was all off and everything like that. I'm not like a pro when it comes to making videos, so I just kind of just do it and just see what happens. But sometimes you want some good quality videos so you can actually hear what someone's saying. Anywho, nonetheless, so I've kind of taken a little time off from messing around with Posh Easy Win, and I figured today I'd pick it back up. It's been a while since I have actually, messed around with it. And if you've seen any of my other previous videos on how to use Posh Easy Win, you'll know that it's a really cool tool when it comes to actually gathering a lot of data inside of the network that doesn't really have like a scene, or if you need to do like any like triage of whatnot and things like that. So it really is a great tool just to pull back several different artifacts in regards to like Windows endpoints and also like Linux endpoints as well. So actually it supports kind of both over several different protocols and things like that. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and show just some oddball things that you might find useful when using Posh Easy Win, and how we might go about actually maybe scoping an endpoint, pulling back certain pieces of data, maybe how to do remoting, things like that, right? So here you can see I'm extracting all the contents of a folder. I've downloaded 7.1, and there's like a master version and everything like that. So if you haven't seen the previous videos, you'll see how I can pull it down, extract everything, run a few commands, get it up and running. So just visit my previous video, the intro, and that should get you going. And I'm kind of going to run through the same steps really. And let's do this. Let's begin. So here it is, and we'll be interacting with this main script, which kind of interacts with all the other dependency scripts and things like that. So what we'll do is go ahead and run PowerShell as administrator, and it's preferred to do it as administrator. You can do it as user, but administrator is much more preferable. So let's go here, and then let's do a get child item, have a curse, type unblock, so unblock all the files that the main script will interact with. And 1RM is already enabled on this endpoint, and I'm actually, joined to CyberCorp's cyberlabs.local. So there's that. Here it is, and let's go ahead and run it. And you see a niche little icon pops up in the corner. Here we have another PowerShell GUI that kind of goes over some disclaimers and whatnot, kind of what Posh Easy Win is. And then we'll be able to kind of like resize everything if you want. I think this right here works best, so go ahead and go with that for my screen. And also, this is like really important. Make sure you go through the README. It'll pop up once if it's your first time using it. A lot of valuable information here. I highly recommend you read through all this to kind of get a little bit more educated on the nuances of the tool, what it uses, certain different aspects, certain situations, tips, tricks, what it supports, protocols, best practices, and credentialing and how it's stored. This is a big thing right here, the store credentials, and it goes over and explains. Daniel put a lot of time and effort into explaining how when you input credentials, it could be like domain or workstation admin, how it's exactly stored and things like that. So I highly recommend you go and read throughout a lot of this on the first time go. A lot of thought and effort was put into this piece right here. So thanks, Comic, for that one. So I have read this a bunch of times, so I'm going to hit I have read and understand the above information. And here we go. So then this is also right here, just the PS-Write HTML module. I'll try to see if this works. I will go over that a little bit more. Maybe a tool like this, you could spend hours upon hours going over all the key features and stuff like that. But let's just kind of, I don't know, do some cyber stuff, I guess you'd call it, and see what happens. So let's see here. presented with a lot of this upfront kind of like placeholder information. So if you want to, you can go ahead and get rid of all this. But this is just like what it would look like if you had endpoint data that imported into Easy Win, and that's all stored essentially right here in the collected data. Let's go back to right here. I think, yeah, it should be all stored under user data, but I think this placeholder data is actually right here under demo data and stuff like that. So yeah, there's that. Go back to here, and we do actually start collecting data from endpoints. It'll be stored in here in a nice little neat folder, just like so. Let's go ahead and get rid of all of this. Just click up there and then right click in the white space real quick, and let's do node actions, and then delete checked nodes, and just pull this to the side and say yes, and click back in here, and there we are. Alright, so let's see situational scenario kind of base. Let's say we have a DC and we're just given the IP and we're given some credentials. We don't have the host name. So what we can do is we'll go ahead and skip all the way over here to the enumeration piece, and let's say we have the DC's IP. We'll go over here to the DC real quick and log in. And then once we log in, we'll be able to see what the IP of the DC is. If you want to do it a different way, you can pop open a terminal and just do NS lookup, and then there's your DC's IP, or you can go to the DC and actually verify if that is indeed the right IP. Just to double check. Measure once, or measure twice, cut once, right? So 68.136 is our DC's IP, so that all matches up right here. So let's go ahead and scan this endpoint. Essentially what this does is it does like a TCP net connection, and you can do by singular IP or by like a range. So you do like 168.1, and then it can start like .2, and then 2.5.4 if you want to do it that way. But we're just doing a singular IP. And let's just see if 445 and WinRM95 is open. You can do like top 50, top 100 actually right here for like Nmap, and all these like stored in like CSV files and know like what ports to poke. And we can like cut down right here to, you can do like, it's like 40 milliseconds, right? Nothing too crazy. We can just go ahead and execute and scan that endpoint real quick just to verify what ports are open, stuff like that. So we did get back that 5098.5 is open and 445 is open, and it spit it out over here under this DNS resolution pan. So you can just click on that and we can resolve the host name if we're domain joined. And once you do, boom, we have cyberport. And then you can kick that on over to your tree view right there. And kind of a little bug, but it kind of like expands all the properties of each host that you import. Nonetheless, just go back over here and just click conical name again, and it'll take care of that, right? If you want to add any additional information under port scan, you very well could do so. We'll just go ahead and expand here and expand that, collapse that, check our endpoint, get rid of this, we'll do that. You can see that we don't have any ports right here for port count for any info or data or anything like that. So what we can do is we can just get rid of this, and let's just do top 100 right here, right? And we'll go ahead and execute. Say yes right there, and it'll go through all of its top 100 ports. And then once it does that, it will spit out all the ports underneath our newly imported host, right? And here we are, presented with all the ports. And you can go down here and let's check this guy. And you can see here we have all our port information for this particular host, cyberport, which is our DC. And once we pull back all the AD information on it, we'll be able to kind of like see all its attributes and whatnot. So pretty cool. I like that. Now let's go and actually pull endpoint data from our DC right here. And let's go over and manage credentials. And then we don't have any yet, but we can create new credentials. And if you read the README, you'll see how the credentials are actually stored. So administrator and super secure password. And okay. Alright, and you can go back in here, manage credentials, and select credentials for each different domain controller or endpoint that you need to remote into, right? And so what we can do is we go ahead and test those credentials. We already have some selected just to make sure it works. And you can highlight your endpoint and right click, and you're presented with all these cool options for remoting in, if it's a Linux endpoint or if SSH is enabled on the actual Windows endpoint itself. You can do that, but usually Linux, right? Things like that. Let's just go ahead and test this out and remote in, and we should be able to remote right into CyberCorp, the DC, and you can do the host name, and there CyberCorp is, right? And you can just go ahead and click out of that. It'll exit the PS session, and here we have some of the info results that we've been conducting on the actual endpoint itself. But let's go ahead and right click, highlight, right click, and let's go ahead and import 80 data. So there's a couple of different options you can choose. If you actually do like a text file, a CSV, as it was given to you, or Active Directory. So let's just do Active Directory since we have the credentials. And let's do it by IP and see if that works, right? Sometimes you need a host name, but let's do it by IP. And boom, there we go. So we have a few different endpoints. This is ours that we're on right now, .128. This is another one that's in Active Directory. And this is the FileCorp right here. So, with that being said, let's do something real quick. I don't think this is going to work, but I can try. Let's go ahead and fire Kali. And did some testing earlier. Let's go ahead. Exit. Options. And so we already created a package here. And let's just do fire a Python server real quick. And we have our handler. Let's open. Make sure that's good on 80. Let's go over here to our endpoint. And do that. Cancel. Let's go here. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's do wget http 2.168.68.134. Oops, not writing anything. Wget http 192.168.134 80 out file. Let's see if we got that. Cool. Boom. Alright, there we go. So we should get a callback. And if we do, send to the stage. We should get a session here in a moment. You see that we grabbed it, and that's cool. Let's let that do its thing. But let's say we're scoping the endpoint, and let's just do FileCorp, right? And let's check it. And let's just see, we don't have any ports that are open or whatnot. So let's do this. Let's go to enumeration. Let's enumerate the endpoint. We'll do top 100. Check box right here. And let's go ahead and scan it real quick, just to get some additional information about FileCorp server. See what all ports are open. And once you do that, we'll have some more granular information on the endpoint as far as ports that are open, that BIOS 445, and some other high ports. Yeah. So there we go. And if we wanted to, we can add to our op notes. And FileCorp. And what we can do, info results. I wonder if we can actually. Ooh, you know what? Let's do this. Can we do this? Ah, there we go. So we selected all what we just did and add that to our op notes. So let's do this, and we scanned it. So then we have kind of like a historical kind of output of everything that we just did. for file corp, right? And maybe we can keep adding to this, see how this looks. So scanned it, and yeah, now if we wanted to do some additional enumeration, we can actually go to search. Actually, let's go over here, commands, and let's only run WinRM commands, right? And here, Dan was so kind enough to categorize everything with WinRM functionality under endpoint commands, Active Directory commands, custom group commands, and user added commands. And I kind of was, you know, hinting on him, hey, we should do Linux as well. We add some Linux stuff in here as well, and also for users who want to do some ad hoc, you know, WinRM command or PowerShell commands, they can add it, and then it'll be lumped under here. So what we can do is like get service, tag name, sysmon, and we can do disable syntax verification, and then add that to our tree view, and there we go. So we can click on our new command that we have. Maybe it might be a lot longer, a little bit more granular. And what we can do is click that, click our file corp, and execute this script or the command in this particular instance, and query the endpoint, get service, tag name sysmon, and see what we have. And we can look at it in shell. So we look at it in shell right here, which shell is kind of like for more verbose than outgrid, right? So we can see that we do have sysmon is running, and this gives like a more, I guess, like I said, verbose output. You'll see this right here, and the difference between that and this is, I think the shell command is a little better in some circumstances, but if you have like a lot of logs, you want to do like some searching up here, you can search for it up there like that, but no problem at all. And all your user data is collected and stored nice and neatly in all these folders right here, right? So there we have that. Now let's go ahead and kind of scope the endpoint a little bit. Maybe we want to do some packet capture, right? And what we can do right here is do interactions, do packet capture, and you can read throughout here exactly how this is happening. Packet capture comes to endpoint perspective, and combination with ETL to pcat PNG. NetSesh is a native Windows executable, which is executed on each selected endpoint to produce an ETL file, and then we bring it back, wrap it up, so that we can visualize it in Wireshark, right? So let's do this. Let's do 30 seconds, max 50, physical, and we'll do IPv4 with no filter. You can look at the different protocols right here and kind of select what you want to do, but we won't leave a filter on. And we'll just go ahead and start capturing right now. And we'll execute that to do a net session and bring back all network data on the endpoint, right? So then right here, what we can do is select this, add this to our selected op notes, and we can see that we're performing packet capture on the endpoint, which is pretty cool because we have all of our op notes just from previous. So we can kind of keep like a historical log of things, right? And then also this might help in the future for like, you know, auditing, things like that. So go ahead and open folder, pcat, user data, here are our op notes right here, so you can kind of keep track of all that in text format. Really good, I like that a lot. Here's a change log, but I think for our op notes, I thought there was an audit log in here where it shows you like what commands are being ran, but yeah, nonetheless, we have our op notes, right? And we go back to monitor jobs, we can see that we have our PCAP, right? So we go ahead and open PCAP right there. And if you have Wireshark installed, you'll be able to visualize all this in Wireshark. Come here like statistics, and then we can do conversations, and let's do IPv4, and we can see right here that we have communication between the 128 here, 135 and 136 here as well. So let's see here. So I think this is us, the 128, and right here as well. TCP, 136, 135, so on and so forth. Let's get out of here and let's look at HTTP. And we see we have HTTP traffic right here, WSMan, and then we have a 135 to 128, so 200. So nothing too out of the ordinary here. I think we still have everything going. Oops. So sessions tag I2 here, sysinfo, got you, hash dump. Nope, can't do it. Let's go ahead and get system. See if we can get system. Nope, can't get system. Okay, so we kind of generated some logs, right? Let's do PS right there. So here we have, we're kind of looking at exactly what's running on the endpoint from the C2's perspective. And let's see if we were actually capturing packets, what that would look like. Let's do this again. And let's do 30 seconds. And we'll go ahead, execute again. This could be a lot longer. Could be, a minute or whatever. So we'll just do ls, and then ps, and then a shell, and ls here. Actually, it's dir, and then change it to desktop. Oops. Desktop, boom, cool, got it. Let's go ahead and background this, and then let's go ahead and background this session, and then search suggester, and then we can just use that for post exploitation. Z options, we'll set session. Set session. Yes, set session. Set session 2. Sorry about that. And then options, and then we can go ahead and oops, caps on right there. So I was just going to do some local enumeration to see what kind of exploits might be capable of, you can take a hold of, and some Prevesc right there. Let's go ahead and open PCAP real quick again, and look at statistics, and then conversations, and we can see 134 right here, which is our C2 communicating port 80 to here, and you can probably look at this right here as well, 134. So 134 is in question. Look at HTTP, and we see we have a lot of HTTP traffic between 134, so malformed packets, things like that. Might catch our eye, a little suspicion, kind of looks a little weird. I don't exactly know. It could be the interpreter handler on that right there. So we might want to look a little bit deeper into that. So legal characters, yeah, definitely doesn't look standard to me. Gonna go down a little bit more. We probably kind of determine like, hey, something's going on with this particular host talking to our file corp, right? Go ahead and get out of that. Look, and looks like we have some vulnerabilities that we might be able to take a hold of. I wonder if we can actually do. Can we use 2? So use 2. Nope, can't use 2. So let's see if we can actually. Oops, sorry, I did that wrong. Let's use .NET Profiler. Event viewer. Let's do this real quick. And I think that's it right there. Use 0. Payload will have it set pretty good. We'll do set session. Oops. Set session 2. Exploit. Let's see here. We have some manual cleanup needs to be done. Let's see if we get an actual session callback, which is on 4444. And if it works, it doesn't work. If not, so be it. I'll just kind of keep on keeping on. And so I'm going to use any other commandlets right here. Do this and go down and get, let's see here, we could probably do get network connections TCP enrich is always a great one, so let's go ahead and fire that off and get network connection TCP enrich. Let's see what we got going on there. Did this exploit? No, it didn't exploit, so no worries, didn't prevent there. This one's interesting. I wonder what this is. Actually, target appears to be vulnerable. Oh snap. Goods. Cool. Options. What do I like? Show targets. Yeah, okay, cool. Kind of let that run real quick. Export finish, wait for hopefully privilege escalation payload. Fingers crossed, probably not gonna get it, but oh well. Let's do outgrid view right here, TCP connections. And let's look at processes. Actually, let's go to established. So established connections. And here we have this thing called updaters.exe. Looks a little janky under tech lead, so we're going to check him out here in a minute. No session was created, nonetheless. Still have our session right there. So we have updaters.exe, which has a connection over port 80. So we might want to dig a little deeper into that. And let's look right here at another cool feature in Easy Win called interactions. Where is that? Oh, we're going to actually get to this here in a moment, but let's look at search, and then let's use chainsaw, and let's pull back sysmon logs. Now, if we don't have sysmon installed, we can actually push it with interactions with these executables, and that executable is actually stored in the executable files under Posh Easy Win's directory, so we can look at that a little bit further. I don't have procmon on here, but I wonder if we can do like 30 seconds of procmon and click on that. Oh no, we don't have it. Can we use procmon without it? Change process data over time span. Sure. Okay, let's just go ahead and execute it. Yeah. Maybe we can open up a process hacker here in a minute and see what we got. So let's do 30 seconds of that, and while that's running, let's just, oh man, it went away, no worries. Let's do, just monitor jobs. Okay, that's cool, that's still going. So let's do search, and let's pull back sysmon data. Let's go ahead and get that, run 2 jobs at once. So here you can see we're running 2 jobs. We're getting procmon data and sysmon. Let's run chainsaw. Let's see what we got. So procmon finished. And let's see if any signal rules match anything weird happening with sysmon data, right? And what do we got? What do we got? What do we got? 89 detections found. Sweet. So here we have our target file name. So we had test.text. The weird procmon was running. That's us right there. So definitely some suspicious stuff going around. Updates.exe. Here we have procmon. That's us running that. So 9 by 9. And here we have some basic SQL PowerShell encoding that's running. Non-interactive. And here we have some additional whoami groups running. Some other stuff, some accepted ULA for procmon, and things like that. So definitely some weird stuff going on this endpoint. for sure. Base 64 encoding, catching our eye. So I would say this endpoint is definitely compromised just by looking at the alerts that we're getting. So what we can do is just click on this guy, go to here, and we will empty him as endpoint red. Change icon up here, and we'll go over to op notes, and file corp is compromised. Has been had. Boom, gotcha. Alright, let's go back over to our monitor jobs. Let's open up Procmon real quick. I don't have, you know, I wonder if I can do, oh no, don't want to do that. Open folder. Let's see if we can use open with for another Apple's PC process hacker. Here we go. Can we use process hacker for this? Oh, we can. Sweet. All right, cool deal. So I wonder if this is actually hacker view. Oh no, we can't do it. Oh no, I wish we could do it so that we could see. Maybe we can do it somehow, but I don't have. I thought that we'd be able to use. I guess we can. Alright, no worries. So yeah, if we had Procmon installed, we'd be able to use Procmon with proc dump that we just obtained. So let's do this. Let's do some graph data real quick to see something. So graph data, I think this should work. Let's just do endpoint processing network. And let's just do, actually, yeah, let's do that. So graph, okay, check a box right here. And let's just do process. And see if this works. So we're going to do process and network data. We're going to visualize it in the browser. Hopefully this works. So let's just take just a moment. Our session is still rolling. Right here. Cool deal, cool deal. Alright, let's open this up in browser. And see if my VM doesn't take a dump on me. Cool. So we got some charts. See if we can go ahead and graph this with Posh Easy Win. And we were looking at updaters. So file corp established right here. And then we also have here. So it looks like updaters open. We have a net sesh here on this PID, con host on that PID, file corp, and let's see here. We can see that there's definitely something going on with commands and con host with updaters, PowerShell as well. And yeah, very interesting indeed. I wonder if we can see anything else. Sysmon, service host. So yeah, definitely of interest here is updaters on PID 2100. Just go ahead and verify that's the case. 2 PS. And yeah, PID 2100. That is indeed it right there. So what we can do right now is, since we kind of like made our determination, like, hey, something isn't going right with this, let's just go ahead and we can quarantine the host if we want to, but let's go ahead and kill it. Do interactions, multi-endpoint actions, and then do select connections to kill, right? And this is like worst case scenario. Boom, we have a compromised endpoint, and we'll go ahead and kill connections to this .134, this updaters.exe. I love how this is kind of like panned out right here. Shows you the connections, the process name, the PID, which is matched up with 2100, parent process, and the actual process itself. So let's go ahead and kill that. Come up over here, and we see exactly once it's killed, our interpreter session is closed. We have defeated the adversary once more. And we just go ahead and take this, add this to our op notes. Bada boom. There we are. Close it out. Looks like we have remedied the endpoint. And we can turn him back blue again. So, ooh, dark blue like that. Alright, yeah, cool deal. So, just kind of fooling around with Posh Easy Win, kind of give you some ideas on how to use it, what to use it for. A lot of feature, a lot of capability, especially with the command, the interaction, so on and so forth. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm gonna go ahead and kill it off right here. If you guys want to see anything else, just let me know, and I'll keep on keeping on. You guys stay cyber. Take it easy.